I told y'all that it was going to be a lot of interesting characters that was going to be in these Blackaren and Bed Bucking Hall of Shame entries this year, and I wasn't playing. But some of y'all may or may not know who this guy is unless you are an avid NBA watcher. But this guy's name is Jonathan Isaac, and the reason why he is entering into the Bed Bucking Hall of Shame today is because he is creating this brand of clothing where it's going to be a quote-unquote pro-Christian, anti-woke clothing line. You heard that correctly. This black man this man is launching a pro-Christian, anti-woke clothing line where we can pretty much know that this is not going to be geared to black people except for those who think like him and other PC people. I wonder what them first year sales are going to look like. Will he turn a profit or not? But I think it's going to be even more interesting as we dive a little bit more deep into this guy's story, because this is not the first ride of the rodeo for this dude. But based on things that I've heard online, let's just say he needed a grift badly, because it looks to me like that NBA career is probably going to dry up real fast. And when I say fast, I'm talking about before he reaches what would be considered retirement age in the NBA. NBA player Jonathan Isaac will launch an anti-woke line of clothing aimed at supporting conservative values, set to drop in August 2023. Writing on Twitter, the Orlando Magic star, and I use that loosely, age 25, said, "Retail brands have the freedom to go woke. We have the freedom to create an alternative. We can be proud of what we believe in. We don't have to hide or be ashamed of it," he told Amala Ekpunobi in a recent PragerU documentary covering the launch. Already two red flags in just that sentence. One, he's sitting and talking to Amala Ekpunobi. As a matter of fact, the picture you see on your screen is from that interview. She's just on the other side of him. One, he's talking to her, who we all know I infamously had her in the Blackaren Hall of Shame. Did pretty good numbers, by the way, last year. Two, it says for a PragerU documentary covering the launch. I always told y'all, any black person that is affiliated with PragerU automatically gets the side eye from me. There is not one B1 person that is attached to PragerU, and I have yet to be wrong about that. Isaac made headlines in 2020 as the first NBA player to stand for the national anthem without wearing a Black Lives Matter warm-up shirt, claiming to support the cause but believing that wearing the t-shirt did not go hand in hand with supporting black lives. So I guess this is his way of coming back at the people. And by the way, his clothing line is supposed to be called Unitus, which is spelled Unitus. Isaac spoke to conservative nonprofit and advocacy group PragerU in a documentary titled Unwoke Incorporated. Didn't I just do a video talking about how woke has become a joke? This adds on right to that sentiment. He explained the decision for launching the new brand Unitus is a sports apparel company, and the basis of it for me is freedom. This sounds just like that hack phone that Candace Owens was trying to launch. I think she was calling it the Freedom Phone. And the whole time she's advertising the so-called Freedom Phone, when she posted it, it said posted to Twitter via iPhone. People clowned her for that. It says you have companies that are in that field who have made a conscious decision to either attack or undermine Christian values, conservative values, and things like that. Now, like I said, this is coming from a black man, but everything that he's saying, it sounds like they're coming out of the mouth of a white man. And I think they have the free choice to do so, as much as I disagree, but I feel that we also have the freedom to create what we want to create. Published May 31st, the video saw YouTuber Amala Ekpunobi talk through what is wokeism and where did it come from, interviewing leaders and entrepreneurs in different sectors on how politics was seen to have infiltrated nearly every aspect of our culture. Now, it's funny she's talking about what is wokeism. First off, and when black people came up with the term woke, it wasn't called wokeism. Notice that they had to throw ism at the end of the word to really bastardize it and turn it into their own. And I bet you in her little video, her little quote unquote expose, is just as tainted as whatever they done with this word. Ekpunobi looked at the origins of quote-unquote woke culture and its perceived influence on Hollywood and media before she said sports went woke. She recounted how players on the Orlando Magic team decided to collectively kneel during the national anthem in 2020, except Isaac. It came amid a series of protests against police brutality that began on May 26 following the murder of 46-year-old George Floyd by Officer Derek Chauvin. Jonathan Isaac was pictured standing for the anthem and not wearing the pregame shirt printed with Black Lives Matter. After the game, he said, "I believe that Black Lives Matter. A lot went into my decision. It's my thought that kneeling while wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt doesn't go hand in hand with supporting Black lives." Isaac's first book, Why I Stand, was published on May 17th last year, touching on his athletic career, politics, and Christian faith. I would like to know what the numbers were for that book, because this is my first time ever hearing about it. And I didn't hear a lot of conservative pundits talk about it either. In March, Jonathan Isaac's dreams of an anticipated comeback from an injury were dashed by a torn adductor muscle. Pay attention to that right there. That was karma right there that came from him. He probably doesn't realize it. But it says that dreams of an anticipated comeback from an injury were dashed, which was basically tarnished, by a torn adductor muscle, which is basically it's a muscle in the leg. Remember what I said about his grift? He needed to support himself somehow, some way. What better way to do that than to do what he's doing right now in hopes that he's going to collect as many PC dollars as he possibly can? Because in order for them to not seem like racist or white supremacists, they're going to quote unquote support this black man and then say you can't call us racist because we're supporting a, you guessed it, black owned business that probably is most likely not going to put a dime into any parts of the black community. Only God knows where this is actually going to go. But when you think about his mission statement, we don't have to guess very hard where it's headed. He played in 11 games this season after missing 2.5 years following a serious knee injury and other setbacks. So he had other injuries. They said he only played in 11 games this season, as in the 2022-2023 season. For those of you who do not know, the NBA season, regular season, has 87 games. And he only played in 11 of them. We don't have to be a rocket scientist or a mathematician to know that those numbers are very, very off. I'm telling you, his NBA career is pretty much done and he needs a grift. And this is the grift. He's not fooling nobody. The Magic did not release a timetable for Isaac's potential return, probably because they probably have no intentions of bringing him back. It says his return to basketball activities, but there's no reason to think he won't be ready for training camp next fall. I wonder, he's probably also doing this to see if he can get more people to buy his jerseys and other apparel that has his name on it as well. I was going to pull up like the little stats and everything like that, but this article pretty much put it out there for me. So now you see why he's doing this. I told people whenever they want to have something that works in their favor, all they got to do is grift. Anything for some clicks, views, money, like clout chasing is the current day and age currency. Like, look at who he went to. He went to sit down with Amala Ekpunobi, of all people, another tragic mulatto, along with Sage Mammy Steele, who is attached to PragerU, to do a clothing apparel line. It says for sports. I don't know anyone in sports that will really pick this up. That he said it's pro-Christian and anti-woke clothing line. Who are you, Jonathan? Who are you really marketing this to? Because like I said, he's not marketing it to black people. We are not in his his niche. We are not in his demographic with this so-called clothing line at all. So that only leaves one other major group, and their co-colonizing cohorts as far as I'm concerned, but one major group in particular. I will be revisiting this later down the line because I want to know what these sales are going to look like. I'm very curious to know if anybody is going to buy this stuff. And the thing is, it's only going to go one or two ways. It's either going to soar high or it's going to be a bust, much like his entire NBA career, as far as I'm concerned. And if it is a bust, y'all already know what's about to happen soon after that.